All right. All right, guys. So let's start with our review. Lecture one we did was managing small business startups. We spoke about the importance of the small business economy to the overall economy. We defined what entrepreneurship is. We discussed the 5 types of small business owners, whether you're a sustainer, hard worker, idealist, optimizer, or juggler. Please know what these are. Please know what they mean. We spoke about entrepreneurship and the environment, how the environment can affect your entrepreneurial activity. We gave some reasons why small business is needed today and why small business will always be needed, no matter how many, if you remember me saying, no matter how many large organizations exist in your country, small business will always have a role. And I just want you to imagine for a moment. I don't know the ages of some of you, so I don't know if you all are you all live independently, and or maybe you go with your parents or whoever you live with. So imagine our country before Price Mart. And then imagine our country after Price Mart. You would ask yourself, based on seeing the amount of customers in Price Mart, where did these people shop before? Why are they shopping in Price Mart? Well, there are some answers. Price Mart could be providing products and services that no one else is supplying. Or two, Price Mart is more convenient. But notwithstanding those things, do you see any groceries closing down? Do you see Massey closing down? Do you see Extra Foods closing down? Do you see JTA closing down? None of those groceries that are direct competitors with Price Mart are closing down. Further, do you see mini marts closing down? On the contrary, you see popping up of the Chinese run groceries and you see popping up of mini marts. Small businesses, and I'm not saying Massey is a small business, but I'm just using it in comparison to you're comparing like business sizes in terms of Massey and Price Mart. They're about the same in revenue. But we're comparing the Massey's and the Price Mart with the smaller Chinese and locally owned groceries, and comparing it with the mini marts. None of those have closed. So I'm saying this to reiterate the point that small business will always be a part of the economy, and there will always be a need to have small business, new market niches, increased competition, economic changes. And when you can use the same you can use the same explanation of economies of scale to explain why in certain times large businesses fold and collapse. Because a large organization will have with it, tell me what a large organization will have that can cause it to collapse. Come on, guys. Tell me, Cheyenne, tell me, Melissa, Vasudeva, what does a large company have that can facilitate its collapse quickly? Michael, I don't know if you're there. I don't know if you're tuned in this morning. Can you think of things that a large company has or high monthly? Thank you. Very correct. Their expenses, they have large monthly overheads starting with a very expensive CEO and another Matthew, embezzlement of funds? How? We're talking about a large company being affected by the external environment and it can fall and collapse easily. Oh, you mean if persons in the large company are embezzling funds? Okay, so that's mismanagement. That's mismanagement, right? And specifically embezzlement of funds. So yes, I understand what you're saying. Okay, good. But essentially, without mismanagement, essentially large overheads. Small businesses usually have small overheads. Right. Okay, Matthew, got you. Small businesses usually have one person who is the CEO, who is the cashier, who is the cleaner. That's a micro enterprise, but small businesses have the professional who's also the tax paying the financial data entry person, who's also the um the cashier at times. Small businesses, small overheads. Large businesses, large overheads. All right. So small business always has a role to play. And we went on to define small business based on, well, this one is based on Trinidad and Tobago. And we looked at we're on slide number 10 now, comparison of small, micro, medium, and large enterprises based on employees, based on their assets value, and based on their revenue, their sales generating ability. All right? The different categories of small business. And you're looking at some examples of small business, manufacturing, retail, and other miscellaneous services. And we went into an understanding that entrepreneurs can be anyone. Entrepreneurs can be anyone of any age, of any race, of any background, of any geographic location. An entrepreneur has a mindset. An entrepreneur is someone who, and we move on to the other slide, who believes in internal locus of control. An entrepreneur is someone who is able to recognize an opportunity. An entrepreneur has high energy level, tolerance to ambiguity, need to achieve self-confidence. An entrepreneur is self-confident. And that's why all of these characteristics of an entrepreneur has absolutely no linkage to race, geographic location, religion, if you're the firstborn or lastborn, if you're an immigrant or not. All right? I want a janitor working Petrochin. Yes, Vasudeva. There's no longer Petrochin, eh? Let's take note. Petrochin no longer exists. There are two companies, Heritage Petroleum and Paria Fuels. Right? And as Vasudeva brought this up, I just want to share with you. I just want to share with you an example of how becoming a prudent manager, becoming an excellent manager, that is the dream, can put you in a sweet financial position. Can anyone make a guess what the salaries are for the CEO of Heritage and the CEO of Paria Fuels? Can anyone make a guess? Can anyone make a guess what is the salary of the CEO of a regional health authority? Can come on, give me some tries, and I'm doing this solely for the purpose of giving you an appreciation that your professional qualification can only reach you this certain salary cap. All right, probably in the millions. No, Matthew. It's the salaries are over 100k, 100k, and is that 100k per year or every 10 years or every month? Make a guess. Come on, make some guesses. Vasudeva, you were interested in working Petrotrin. Fourth month. Celine, you're correct. And Sarah, you're correct. That's 100k per month. I'm not saying all of you are going to graduate and all of you are going to get MBAs and all of you are going to get MHAs and project management certificates and get the salary, you know. But I'm saying that that is what salaries in the energy sector and in banking sectors are for qualified management professionals who are able to get results. I'm reiterating this, that that is the type of salary that you're going to be getting if it is you are a good manager. So continuing on with the review, we went on to talk about external locus of control versus internal locus of control, and we all know the locus of control we're talking about is who controls what happens to you, and entrepreneurs believe that that they are in control. And the graph on slide number 16 showed the amount of hours worked by new business owners. It's a lot of hours. It's not easy. It's not going to be nothing. It's not going to be easy at all. We spoke about some reasons for starting businesses. Now, the reason I'm going through these slides is because these are things that are going to come in your MCQs, right? And you would see where I may be putting emphasis on things for you to to assist. Reasons for starting a business. You look at all of those reasons: to control my future, to be my own boss, to because you've been downsized. Sources of new business ideas, market niche, in-depth understanding of the profession, brainstorming, copying someone else. Your business plan. We started to talk about business plan that we completed today. We're looking at a detailed business plan. Vision, realistic projections, target market, sources and uses of funds, the management team, everything we spoke about today. Then we spoke about the different types of business owners, whether you're a sole proprietor, a sole trader, a partner, or a corporation. A corporation is also called a limited liability company. Financing, financing for small business, whether it be debt financing or equity financing. We clearly understand those two. Based on my questions to you guys, you all understand what debt and equity financing are. So what do we do? Do we start a new business? What is the advantage? What is the disadvantage? Do you buy an existing business? What is the advantage? What is the disadvantage? A franchise, how easy it is to get a franchise, advantage, disadvantage. Business incubators. We spoke about the 5 stages of growth: survival, existence, success, takeoff, maturity. And just to help you tie in stuff, survival and existence could be your question mark in your BCG matrix. Resource maturity is when you become a cash cow. Star is when you are now in the success and takeoff stage. Just to, help tie in both. Planning. Planning for business, I mentioned planning must be done from the beginning. Formal planning comes in until the third stage. Where when a functional manager is hired. Leading, I mentioned about the importance of having good leadership, good vision, because you must first convince yourself of what you're about to do. You must convince your staff what you're about to do, and you must be able to convince your bankers of your ability to achieve what it is you want to do. Leadership is very, very, very important. I want to put that in your chat. Leadership is very important in small business. Something you can relate to. You need to be able to manage $1 before you could manage $1 million. You need to be able to manage $10 before you could manage $10 million. Okay, and leadership plays a really important role in that. And things that are important in your small business is controls, financial controls, ensuring that there's little shrinkage, ensuring that you're not spending more than you're selling. Operational budgets coming in by the third stage. All right, so that was the review of lecture 1. Let's go on to review lecture 2. Managerial planning and goal setting. Defining goals and plans and the relationship between them. We looked at management by objectives, planning for the future. What is a goal? What is a plan? Definitions of a goal and a plan. A goal is a desired future state. A plan is an actual blueprint. A plan is actionable. And we looked at the hierarchy of goals and plans: strategic, tactical, operational, all being fed from the mission statement. Strategic is executive management. Tactical is middle management. Operational is lower management. And goals and plans give external messages and internal messages. Know what those messages are. By having good goals and plans, you have lots of benefits for your organization. Helps with resource allocation, guiding you to taking the necessary action. It's a source of motivation and commitment. Gives legitimacy of your organization. It helps give rationale for your decision making and provides guidance for standards of performance. We went on into what a mission is. The mission is the organization's reason for existing. A mission statement supposed to tell you why the organization is existing. It may include market and customers. Strategic goals and plans. Where the organization wants to be. The executive team is envisioning or is directing where we would like to be. How are we moving from point A to point B? Tactical, middle management, get it done. Before you use cross-functional teams to get the strategic goals done. They use tactics to get it done. Operational, remember the levels: strategic, tactical, operational. Operational goals are specific, measurable results. SMART. All right, so I've repeated this ad nauseum of characteristics of good goal setting about they being smart, SMART. And then we looked at the model of the management by objectives process. There's some benefits and there's some issues. And then you had your definitions of program versus project. Project is being smaller in scope and smaller in complexity to a program. We had definitions for what a policy is versus a rule. What is a procedure? I believe I mentioned standard operating procedures for companies. Contingency planning was a very important part. We spent a lot of time on contingency planning and we still talk about contingency planning. I expect to see contingency plans in your business plans as well. And looking at scenarios and trends will help you to rehearse what you do if your best laid plans don't work. We spoke about crisis management, how to deal with crisis, talking about prevention, preparation, containment, speaking the truth. Speaking the truth, planning for performance, centralized planning versus decentralized planning. And finally, having a strong mission and vision statement, having goals for excellence, establishing a culture that encourages learning, and establishing a culture that encourages learning leads into one of the lectures we did, balanced scorecard. Embrace event-driven planning. Utilize temporary task forces. Temporary task forces mean temporary teams. Remember, we spoke about using teams yesterday in project management to get things done. All right, so that was the review of lecture 2. And we're going to review lecture 3 now, which was strategic marketing planning. All right, we looked at the mission, feeding into the overall business plan, which will be the strategic plan. And then each department, marketing, financial, human resource, they all have their tactical plans. And they now feed into the operational plans of each department. So a strategic marketing plan helps in delivering a new service or changing a service or to treat with a new competitor. SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, internal, opportunities, threats, external. Your people, they should be part of your strengths. Hope to God they're not part of your weakness. Your facilities, the condition of your facilities could be a strength or a weakness. Again, internal, opportunities and threats, external, the external environment. What needs and that's an opportunity you can see. And I think I remember saying to you, there is opportunity. And the guy who said this was Jack Ma. When people start to worry, there's opportunity. There's an opportunity for you to provide a solution to them because they are in a state where they are worried and concerned and they may not have the answers. So you as an entrepreneur have an opportunity to provide a solution for these persons who are worrying about whatever it is they were worrying about. Okay? And I give examples about that. Is the environment changing? What's it? Is it changing to your advantage or your disadvantage? Your threats, new competitors, your product becoming obsolete, government policies. Believe it or not, government policies can be a threat if it is they are taxing you out of business. That's a real threat. Identifying opportunities and threats in markets. We spoke about that. And then I went on to looking at the steps involved in the strategic marketing plan and formulating the goal. Develop your strategy, implement the strategy, reassess, and it's a feedback loop. It's a feedback loop. Goals and objectives again. Smart. Segmenting your market. I mentioned this today again. How do you segment your market? Who is your target audience? And out of your target audience, how do you go about segmenting your target audience into different parts? I gave an example earlier when we were doing the business plan. We talk about the 4 P's, and we mentioned it today again in the business plan. The 4 P's of product, price, promotion, and place, how it positions you in the market. All of those are for positioning. We mentioned not becoming a commodity, not becoming something that you can get anywhere and it has no value except for exactly what it is. Becoming something of value, becoming a product or a service that provides value to the customer more than the actual commodity itself. And we spoke about branding, getting yourself as identifying yourself as a brand, identifying what you're offering as a brand. So yourself can be a brand as a pharmacist or as a manager, and as a business you can have it as a brand. All right. So and then we finally looked at some problems in implementing the plan: lack of information, structural issues, reassessing your plan, and making it into a feedback loop to create a new plan. So that, folks, is the review for the first 3 lectures that we did. I invite now from you any questions. And you know that please know that your second in-course assessment would be based on, that's 1 minute there, right? Any questions, guys? Nobody have questions? No questions from anyone? All right, so I see some questions here. Our second in course is MCQ. Will it also be a day portal, as in the portal? Savish, those questions you'll have to direct to Dr. Marat because I am not the one who's uploading the questions. Yes, it's going to have MCQs, and it may have it may have it may have some structured questions. All right. Matthew, is the structure for the final exam the same as, yes, the structure is the same, Matthew, as farm admin. MCQs, it'll be less MCQs. I think you're probably going to get about 30 MCQs, if so much, and four or five four or five four or five structured questions. Whereas topics for the second in course, the first in course was on the first two lectures, right? So therefore, the topics for the second in course would be based on the all the other lectures, which would be strategic marketing planning, um, would be on balance scorecard and BCG matrix. So those would be the topics. The three topics: strategic marketing planning, balance scorecard, and BCG matrix. Okay, Faraz? Any other questions, guys? Savesh, when would be expecting results from our first in course? Dr. Maraj and I supposed to be discussing your correcting those papers. If he didn't do it as yet, I will have to do it. I will message him today, and I will message him today, and I will send a message on the group regarding feedback. You all should get definitely you all will get feedback. Definitely you all will get feedback by next week. Okay, by next week when we have our review again, the review of the other courses. Any other questions, guys? No questions? So Sarvesh, don't forget to ask this question, your question in the group, so Dr. Mara, or you can ask him there, or ask him in the group so he can respond. And no questions. Matthew, what about the girls? I'm not hearing about this from Celine, Sarah, and all of the others. Melissa, any questions? All right. So if there are no questions, we shall. No. Okay. Okay. Great. All right. Can now we call you up back there. All right. So tomorrow we have institutional. I think, well, you're not in our class. So and next week we'll continue reviews, and that's it for today. So take care. All right. So see you all. Bye.